If you haven't heard yet, I am doing a 15-day giveaway to celebrate the 15,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. You guys, it's ridiculous. Thank you so much for your support. I don't even know what to say because this is clearly much bigger than I am, and I appreciate you guys all helping to shape this community of really kind, open people. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me. And I would love to give you a little piece of my art. So these are 5x7-ish collages that I've been doing for the 100-day project. I'm going to give away 30 of these, 15 on YouTube and 15 on Instagram. So if you're not following me yet on Instagram, I'd recommend doing that because you'll get twice the opportunities to enter. All you need to do is write a comment, tag somebody, and make sure you're subscribed. Good luck. Years ago, I was focused on, I'm going to work on one painting and I'm going to make it the best painting. And what I learned was that is a lot of pressure on one painting. That is just, it's too much. So I've switched now to do more things and don't worry about the outcome. So, it's just I'm going through these collages every day and I'm like, okay, let's glue some paper down. I'm done. So I'm checking the box if I do the thing rather than evaluating, do I like the thing? That's a separate topic. I'm not interested in that right now, right? I'm just doing the thing. And whenever I do the thing and whenever I create something, no matter how small it is, the better I feel about myself and the more, I guess, capable I feel in the world. And that might sound like a stretch, but it's true. Good morning, it's Jackie Schomburg-Abstract. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I noticed during my Brave Art and Creative Wellness workshops for me personally this weekend. I, for whatever reason, typically don't use a lot of words in my collages. So if I use a word, typically it's cut in half, right? It's not really a focal point. If I do use a word, I don't know, it happens rarely. Maybe like a couple words are in there, but that's it. And this week, I really started using a lot of words. And then when I looked back through my sketchbook, I noticed that there had been words coming into my collages from these process art, purely play sessions. And I found it very interesting. Specifically because I've been feeling totally overwhelmed right now by life. There's so many good things. There's so many confusing things. There's so many hard things going on in my life personally and in all our lives, I'm sure. And it really reminded me that sometimes we tell ourselves the things that we need through art making and through free writing, even when our conscious minds can't get there quite as fast. And hearing it, basically telling myself the things that I need through my writing and through my art is a very strong message to me personally. It's very special communication, and I feel basically honored to have received it. So let me explain to you what I mean. As part of the Brave Art and Creative Wellness workshops, I just want to give you an overview for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. These workshops, we're not worried at all about what the end product looks like. We're there to spend a certain amount of time, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, just playing with art. In this case, we're doing collage, so I'm moving papers around. I'm combining papers with handmade papers, with magazine papers, wrapping paper, tissue paper, whatever I have handy. And I'm just trying to focus on what my tuition says to do. So I'm not worried about, I typically don't use red, which is a lie because I typically do. But for example, I should think about this. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should pick a different color. Let me find something else. No, just pick up the piece that you noticed that called to you for whatever reason and use that piece and don't second think it and don't third think it and don't listen to the chatter in your brain that says, well, I don't really know. Are you going to use red? What's going on with red? What does red mean? Red is kind of an aggressive color, don't you think? I don't know. Well, maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should find a baby blue, blah, blah, blah. No. Just try to not think, right? I try to look at the page and say, oh, lavender. Huh. Glue it down. And typically I don't use purple, so I'm not going to start that whole chatter line. I'm just going to, oh, that looks interesting. I'm going to find a place for it. That allows a few things to happen. It allows me to go on autopilot, which again takes practice, which is why we have it a 5-week class, but it allows me to go on autopilot to not rethink and overthink everything, which is kind of what I like to do. So I'm thinking instead with my intuition. I'm just picking things up. I am putting them down and playing. I'm not worried about what it looks like, other than I want to make sure it, feels like I feel in that moment, I suppose. So if there are things that are important to me in that moment, like I have to have the lavender, great, I need to find a spot for it. As I go, I'm tearing pages, I'm cutting pages, I'm picking up scraps that I've already cut out from other things. And at a certain point, I get to a finished product, which ends up just being whatever I've made during that time. This week, I found the word no, kind of a big N-O. And in my mind, as I was kind of just puttering and collecting pieces, I thought, oh no, that might be good because I probably could use some more boundaries in life so I don't get so overwhelmed. And I put that aside, and then I kind of kept going. And when I was ready to glue everything down, I grabbed the no. And for whatever reason, I didn't just want no to be by itself. So this is what I ended up picking. And after I glued it down, I realized just how powerful a message it was. The first thing I found, before I get to the no part, was this. And it was on the back of the paper right here. So this fluorescent red, black stripes, pretty typical Jackie. And I had done this as an example just for painting on top of magazine pages. Okay. And when I flipped it over, I don't even know why I flipped it over, but I did. And it said how to make a big change. And I literally stopped in my tracks and was like, oh, do I need to make a big change? I was like, well, yeah, because I'm totally overwhelmed and underwater with everything. So yeah, probably should make a big change, Jackie, to make, to find some peace in here. So I thought, well, that's interesting. And I probably too purposefully don't put full phrases into my art because it's too doing abstract art. So I don't want to tell someone what to think and kind of connect all the dots. But this one, I was like, well, this is for me. Why not? So I put that down because it stopped me, and I was like, I can't ignore the fact that it stopped me in my tracks. Then, and I did this as a 2-page spread. So then I've got this side, which here's my no. And I found this other page that was talking about, it's probably some sort of fitness thing. I don't even remember. But right, grit, determination, strength, balance. No. And how I pasted this down was just no. And what I found after that was a pillow picture that just said rest. It said rest assured. I just used the word rest. It wasn't until after the class that I realized that there's 2 meanings for this, right? And punctuation matters a lot. It could be grit, determination, strength, balance, no rest. Like, go get it, attack it, come on, like, now's the time, take charge. And that's kind of old Jackie, right? I'm tired, oh well, keep going. And that didn't even occur to me that that's kind of also what I wrote until after the class. What I meant was all of these things are to the typical things that you think of when you're thinking about like getting through, pushing on. And then I just came full stop, no. So I really need a period here. And then instead of all of those things that people tell you that you should do, you need to rest. Because I don't rest. Because when I do have time to rest, that's the only time I have to do my art. And I love doing art so much that I don't want, like, it's better than sleep at night. In the morning, sleep's more important. Morning Jackie really likes sleep. Night Jackie can deal with that tomorrow, which causes me to not get very great sleep. But this was so profound to me, and some of you may be watching this thinking like this is ridiculous. But if you give yourself a minute to think, okay, if I was just making art and all these words appeared, it was like my unconscious, like making itself visible. And I thought that was pretty cool. So working on these 2 pages at the same time, right? How to make a big change. All these things are what I'm doing, trying to work all these things, but no, big change here is no, just stop and rest. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was what I made this past weekend. So I made that 2 days ago. Then when I looked back, I'll show you this. So this is like an unfinished one from a previous workshop class. And this is how I typically use words in my collages. So, right, that doesn't mean anything. It's just letters. So it's more of a design thing than a focal point as like a powerful word, because we don't really know what this word says. The other side, again, this was a 2-page spread, just says me. And I was like, oh, right, me. And I remember now, going back to when I was making this, I put this bottle here as like a reminder of, hey, clean, but not in a clean way, because we're pretty clean people. I'm not very tidy. So tidy up, Jackie. Eat something that's good for you. Take care of yourself. I thought that was very interesting because this is very powerful. It's all capitals. It's right in the middle. Period. Hard stop. Me. So maybe think about myself for a little while. Maybe take care of myself better. Interesting. When I switch to the next one I have in here. And look at this. Hello. Foreshadowing. This one says made for more and rest. So past Jackie really knew what she was talking about, and past Jackie didn't listen so well, which is what leads me to current Jackie. Guys, I've been telling myself this whole time, rest. This is why I don't throw anything out. So even if I make a collage that I don't like, I don't rip it out and recycle it. I just keep it in my sketchbook. All right, this one. Okay, lots of greens, lots of blues. This says, why not try? I think that's what it says. Yeah, why not try? So, hey, Jackie, previous page, Jackie, rest. Just try it. See what happens. Maybe just stop on the treadmill for a while. Another one. It's not complicated, right? Just rest. It's not complicated. What do you do to rest? You just stop doing things. Just lay down. Enjoy life. I mean, I enjoy life. I'm not trying to say this, but, right, you don't have to do all the things all at the same time. So if this can be, I guess I share this with you for 2 reasons. One, so that you know and you remember and you learn from my example that rest is good. It's really good to rest. And if you're in America, I don't know how it works in the rest of the world, but the messages that we receive are, if you're not producing, what's the point? If you're not producing, you're not, worthwhile as a person. A little dramatic, but not too much of a stretch. Okay, here's my next one. Disappear for a while. Like, it's so obvious now what I was trying to get myself to see, and it's almost embarrassing that I didn't get it. And maybe along the way I got hints of it, but seeing it now, page after page after page. Duh, Jackie, listen to yourself. Like, my art could see it coming, right? And I was like, yeah, but I'm fine. I mentioned 2 things. The other reason I want you guys to share this with you is I want you to look back through your art. If you've been keeping a sketchbook, if you've been keeping a journal, and things keep coming up, give them some attention. Don't be me. Don't wait until you're completely, I don't know, right? Like overwhelmed and feeling underwater. This is the one I made during, I think, one of the free workshops. I didn't date any of these, so forgive me. But this one just says to me. So clearly I've been reminding myself and tapping myself on the shoulder, like, hey, Jackie, pay attention, pay attention. And let's see what else. And that brings us to this weekend, right? How to make a big change. Grit, determination, strength, balance. No hard stop. Instead, rest. So I hope that's helpful to you in any way possible. I hope it reminds you that rest is good. It's not bad. It's good. And even if we have to clear our schedule for a day or two, no one is going to, unless you're like a surgeon, you maybe don't just clear your schedule willy-nilly, but most of us can just take a day, because if we were sick and all of a sudden we had pneumonia, the world would go on without us. Even at our jobs, even at our very important jobs, right? There's time, and don't wait till your body is sick because you've been going on the hamster wheel too long. Just take a day. Sit, drink tea, drink coffee, watch the world go by, see what happens. Easier said than done, I know. I used to do the corporate thing and I felt like every day was an emergency. I get it. Sometimes that's really how it feels. And as a mom, I get that I don't get to choose which day I take off. Because guaranteed there'll be a sick kid at home that needs my attention. Just this, I talk in my workshops about not thinking, putting all the thoughts or all of everything from your brain, just kind of dump it out onto paper when we write about our work. And I neglected to look through the history of what I've made and really take to heart all the messages that have been piling up. So my no and my rest are getting bigger and I'm going to start listening to them. I would encourage you, I will link one of my process art videos to this, because if you're interested in finding out how to create space to allow these things to come up in your own work, I would encourage you to give it a try. It's very chill. It's very little effort. There's no way to do it wrong. And it's a practice. So it takes time, right? I did this over many collages. It took for me to get the whole train of messages to come through. But I think that the message from this week was still pretty clear. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go sit by the fire with a cup of tea for a little bit until my kids come crashing through the door. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.